have a relationship with a birch tree. We met a little over 4 years ago. It was frigid cold, January, just after dawn. I was participating in a practice of fasting alone in nature because I was facing some personal problems and seeking answers I couldn't find on my own. So I'm walking along a road, all bundled up, listening to the crunch of my footsteps, when this birch, broad across with gnarled old branches, stops me in my tracks, bids me lie on the ground in front of it. Lying there, my cheek pressed against the gravel road, I feel held. I feel like a part of something larger. This birch has become my mentor, my teacher, and I visited it many times. It helped me decide when to have a baby, and it helped me choose my son's name. One time, not too long after we first met, I came to it looking for career advice, wondering how best to save the earth. You do not save the earth, the birch said. The earth saves you. I come from a long line of ambitious people, working hard to save the earth, to make a difference. My great-grandfather, John D. Rockefeller Jr., was one of the founders of this park, Acadia. And as we gather here celebrating its 100th birthday, I'm proud of his role, donating 10,000 acres of land and financing the carriage roads. My whole family inherited his passion for saving the earth, saving land, all the way down to me. So it came as a bit of a shock the day the birch told me, "You don't save the earth saves you." I held on to those words, seeking meaning. The earth saves me every day, I realize. I breathe the air, I drink the water. The earth saves me on a material level, on a physical level. But by the time I met the birch, I was already experiencing another, deeper salvation. I had burned out from my job as an environmental planner far too quickly, feeling helpless, overwhelmed against the onslaught of environmental problems. Leaving my job, I began to deepen my connection with the land because it grounded me and it gave me perspective. In relationship with nature, my life took on meaning. I felt alive. I began to feel like I belong here on this earth. I began to feel authenticity, the truth of my being, arise from my footsteps, from my contact with the earth. And I began to know my own calling and what gifts I have to offer. Feeling this salvation, I felt called to share this experience with others. So I joined an odd sort of family business with my mother and another couple, guiding nature-based retreats. And in my role as a guide, I can see from our guests, I'm not alone in my thirst for nature and for connection with nature. And I'm not alone in feeling alienated, overwhelmed by the pressures and anxieties of our culture. Watching the faces of our guests as they return from their time on the land, I can see clarity and brightness in their eyes. Their bodies are grounded, alive. And I hear their stories of being supported by warm granite, nourished by moss, of how the tide washed out their grief, or they learned from sand fleas how to take the next leap in life. Studying spider webs or listening to loons, relating with nature, they come to feel as I do, affirmed, centered in their place here on earth. Since I first heard the birch's words, I've often tried to add another sentence. You don't save the earth saves you, and then we save the earth? But when I'm out wandering the land, the message just ends. The earth saves you. There's no requirement of reciprocity in order to receive the wisdom, wholeness, belonging, meaning, peace. These gifts are our birthright as members of this earth community. You don't save the earth saves you. It's the earth that has the power. Earth is the subject, the actor, and we need saving. The birch is demanding a shift in perspective. We're alienated from ourselves, each other, the rest of nature, endangering ourselves through destructive behavior. The earth saves us. Contact with the earth gently reinfolds us into the community of beings, gently imparts a new way of seeing, shifting the way we place our feet on the ground. The earth saves us. Once, while sitting at the base of the birch, looking up through raindrops at a bright gray sky, I heard the words, "Never forget the light." Knowing my own fallibility, I asked, "What if I forget the light?" "Pray for it to return," the birch replied. I needed those words. Because 2 months later, my father died in a plane crash. And in the wave of grief that followed, I was nearly lost. But those words, "Never forget the light, pray for it to return," kept me afloat. Sitting on mountaintops or beside the sea, I can feel the muscles around my heart unclench, and I can breathe in the freshness of the living air around me. In my darkest hours, the earth saves me. Not long before he died, my dad gave a talk in which he described a transcendent experience he had in nature. He was a boy of 14, watching a sunset over a lake, and he describes the astonishing beauty and this expanding sense that I'm a part of it. I get to live this life, he said, and it supports me. The earth gave my father the gift of life. His deep connection with nature gave him the gift of appreciation. To be alive on this earth is an incredible privilege. If we allow ourselves to connect deeply with each other and with the rest of nature, we are saved. My dad was in love with the land, and he let that love fuel his passion and his generosity for land conservation. And I'm hopeful. If we remember how to connect with the land, we'll all fall in love with this place. And we, like my father, can let that love fuel us so that taking action that restores nature feels good, feels like love. But the point the birch is making is to receive the gifts the earth has to offer, to know that the earth has power, and to feel that connection. The point is to open to love. I hope while you're here in Acadia or in any semi-wild place, you'll have a picnic and you'll take a bike ride. And I also hope you'll find some solitude. Leave your cell phone behind and get off the beaten path. Open your senses. Feel the breeze on your neck, the ground through the soles of your feet. Smell the salt air. Listen to a stream and just be. Full of wonder and curiosity, be like a child again. Notice if a boulder, a spider, or a tree calls your attention. Approach it and introduce yourself. Maybe ask a question. The answer might come in the pattern of lichen or the ch-ch of a squirrel, or it might appear deep inside you, granting new perspective. Allow the wisdom of your senses to show you you are not separate from this earth. Receive the gifts of this connection and let the earth save you. Thank you.